This is painful. I've been painting. Not painting, I've been coloring a tree. And it takes so long. Why are you so big? Why is the tree so big? A mental breakdown of the tree.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm super excited and inspired for the new half-year theme, and I'm pumped to make this one. So let's get into it. If you haven't seen the mid-year setup, I'll link it in the upper right, but in that video, I talk about how I'm changing my theming for the half of this year. My original theme was things that remind me of the month, but I was losing a lot of steam halfway through and got kinda lost creatively before I made my mid-year setup. So now I'm changing it to be references of my favorite childhood cartoons. This month, it's Phineas and Ferb. Since it's my summer vacation right now, it's not a full 104 days, but it's about 2 months. I thought that making it one of my spreads during summer vacation would be a good choice. It was also one of the few cartoons I really nerded out on when I was younger. I'd be going with a few more obscure cartoons and shows later on, but I wanted to start it off with some recognizable ones. For the cover, I'm making the Flynn Fletcher backyard. I can't emulate perfectly the art style of the show, so I'm doing what I can. I started with the tree first. Since I'm severely lacking in colors, I also use my colored pencils here. The lightest shade of the tree is with a pencil, but the rest of it is in marker. For the lines on the tree, I use my brown vintage pen to create details and outlines. For the different lines on the leaves, I get my dark green vintage pen and make those first. I'm using my vintage pen since the ink doesn't smudge as badly as my other pens. The tree is gonna have 2 shades of leaves. I start by coloring in the lighter sections of the leaves. I outline everything first to know where I'm coloring, then start filling it in with the lighter green color. When it's all colored, I take my darker green and fill in the rest of the tree. The color is dark enough to serve as the darker color of the leaves, but not dark enough to remove the detailing I made with my vintage pen earlier. Since this is the only time you'll be able to see the full backyard, I chose to put an invention that was fairly small to fit on the page. It's the platypult from the Across the Second Dimension movie. I start with making the bill first. I overlay the markers with colored pencil to get the correct shade. There's actually 2 different colors for the platypult depending on the lighting. The front and top is lighter than the side color, so I color the lightest parts first. Then I go over them with the colored pencil to fully tweak it to the right color. I get the thin end of my black marker to make the machine-looking markings. For the side, I do the lighter colored parts first, like the wheels and details, then fix all the outlines around the platypult. I take my darker blue and color the side. I go over it really quickly with the same pencil so it also has the same color as the top and the front. Then a quick pass through to finish the details. Next, I go to the tail. I color in the frame of the tail with brown, then the tip of the shuttle in dark red. Since the rest of the shuttle is white, I use my thin black marker to make the lines. Then I color every other fold gray to add the shading. Next would be the fence. To differentiate it from the tree, I use the middle shade between the mid-tone and the darkest shade of the tree. The original reference image had a shadow by the leftmost fence, so I take a darker brown pencil and slowly shade that over the marker. Then I do the same thing for the rest of the fence. I make the darker parts first, then color the normal marker color on the rest. I take the thin black marker and use it to detail the fence, adding the lines for the planks. Since the tail is supposed to be see-through, I color in the fence through the tail but make it consistent with the rest of the fence. For the background details, I take my smoke blue and dark blue matte liners to color in the blue house at the back. Since it's supposed to be hazy and kind of faded, the matte liners work really well. Then I go over the entire tail with my black marker, making the mesh over things I just colored. I make the floor/grass next. I start by getting everything outlined and coloring in the shadows first. I'm using different shades of green for the grass too, so it doesn't look like the tree. With the way I colored the grass, it had all these curved lines which made it look like a golf course, but I guess it's an unintentional reference to the mini golf episode. Then there's a shadow under the tree, under the platypult, and another one which is probably made by the house. The title is in the same style as the main logo of the show with red text inside a yellow circle. I then work on the background details. I'll gloss over those since these are really small parts, but basically I use colored pencils to help keep that lighter look. Final thing is to do the color of the sky. I have a light blue colored pencil and start filling in all the uncolored areas. I have some clouds drawn as well, so I just curve around those shapes and leave them blank. I want the spreads to follow a pretty logical order of a normal episode, so the monthly is themed after Perry's hideout. The washi tape color I'm using is pretty close color to the screen that Major Monogram uses. I trimmed that using my cutter. The calendar is outlined with my dark green vintage pen to match the blue-green screen itself and Major Monogram's outfit. The rest of the room is blue with orange accents, so I make the numbers orange. To make sure I have enough space, I add my color codes first. Since I don't have classes anymore, I only have a few to add. I was just making stuff up as I went, so I started with making Perry's chair on a white platform with teal lining. I get some lime green and make a rectangle at the top for Perry's green tube that's used to enter the hideout. I try to use this off-brand white paint pen to make highlights, but it has a tendency to sink into the page and not be very opaque. The other decorations are going to be light fixtures since it's on top. It's just cone shapes with connectors, but since I didn't want the colors to be too similar to the tube, I used my colored pencil to fill in the green light area. Yes, I did leave the pencil marks and didn't fully outline them. The month label is colored in using the darker color I used for the platypult on the cover, colored pencils and all. After all of that, it still felt empty, so I made the actual screen beside Perry's chair. I outline the TV, then color in the footprints on the decorative border. Then I have my background colors, then do my best to create an orange to yellow gradient. After that, I can fill in the rest of the screen with dark green, overlaying it with blue and green colored pencils. The inside screen is just a bluish gray color. Perry's hideout also has a very light blue tint, so I lightly go over all the top of the page with blue. For my weeklies, I'm switching back to my timed weekly format. During the June plan with me, I said that I don't usually use timed weeklies for my break, but since I am handling a lot of work over the break, I needed to really help me schedule my time. Since the rest of the spreads take too much time to make, I have a super bare bones weekly design, still following the same episode format that is themed after Doofenshmirtz Lab, so it has a lot of purples and greens. I start with my corner calendar, then make my show's box under that. I still don't know how many anime I'm watching, so I'm not making a division just yet. Then I add the times vertically, alternating between a light purple and a dark purple. To complete everything, I just write the date on the top of the row with the day of the week on top of it with a pen. Following the rest of the episode format, week 2 is themed after Phineas and Ferb, week 3 is for Isabella, Baljeet, and Buford, and week 4 is for Candace and their mom. Now, life update / story time. As I said earlier, I'm in my break already, but I'm handling a bunch of different things. I'm still joining debate competitions, I'm handling org work for 2 different orgs, and of course, I'm still making videos weekly. It's not as much work of when I had class since I was doing all of these even then, but there has been some new development. Spoiler alert for next week's video, but I ran for chairperson of my org, the computer science one, not the debating one, and I won, so I am now the chair-elect of the org. I'm happy to be able to serve as chair, and it's just a bit weird for me that the person leading a computer science org isn't in computer science, but you know, I won and people have their trust in me. I'm also co-heading the year-end culmination event of the org, which is a lot of work. It's about 4 days of talks and games that all need to flow smoothly. Since the current chair is handling a lot of other things, I need to be the one to take over all the planning duties, so that's really why I need the weekly plan. In terms of debate, there's gonna be a vlog next week about the most recent debate tournament that I joined, but there isn't gonna be another one that I do in July. It's actually World's Championship season for debating at the end of July, so there's very few novice tournaments available. It's probably gonna resume in August. I'm also held back by registration fees. Joining debates needs some money, and I can ask for some subsidy by my org, but that's still a lot of money if I plan to join a lot of different competitions, so I'm using my time to practice and get some training before I join other competitions. In other news, I'm going to be ending study mode, which is the Minecraft series. It's reaching 2 years since I first started the series, and I'm honestly feeling a bit creatively burnt out. It's something that I've been keeping along as a passion project on my channel. Not a lot of people watch it, but since I really like playing Minecraft, I kept recording episodes. Lately, I've been feeling a bit lost on the series, and I don't feel like I'm having as much fun with it anymore. I don't even know what to create for the last episode of it. I'm not a builder by any means, and I just like following tutorials that execute my vision, which I think isn't the most fun content to watch, even if it might be very creatively rewarding for me. I'll still be playing Minecraft. I'm not done with the game itself, but I think I might want to take a break from a Minecraft series right now, since it does take a lot of time and extra planning and trying to look ahead to see what you're supposed to build. If you guys have any suggestions about other videos I can do, leave them in the comments. I'm still gonna record the last episode, but after that, the slot of study mode is gonna be taken up by tours of my old worlds before I started the channel until I can find another type of video that you guys can expect. I'd appreciate it if you guys can tell me if you want another type of series or just leave that open for any videos I might want to do. For more lighthearted news, I'm really excited for the new anime season coming up. I still haven't narrowed down how many I want to watch since right now my running list is around 30 something. I'm excited for Danmachi Season 2, Overlord Season 4, and Orient Part 2. Then there's other anime that I don't know about yet that I'm gonna discover. And I really want to discover a lot of different anime because it's really bringing me a lot of joy. Anyway, back to the rest of the video. If you saw washi tape in the middle of week 4, that's because Buke journals have a tendency to split between bundles of pages, so I'm trying to stop that by adding something to hold it together. Going back, the habit tracker is based on Doofenshmirtz's lab again. I start with the label and color the letters purple. I'm trying to emulate the sign on the front of the building, so I make a sea green box around the text. I know it's not 100% accurate, but I wanted this color to make it distinct from the other greens in the spread, so this is basically the scene where Perry dismantles the machine. This habit tracker is a vertical line tracker, which is basically getting a line for each habit, and each box is a day. So I have to spend a lot of time making the boxes for all 12 things I want to track. I make columns first using my light green Muji pen. I have to be super careful since Muji pens smudge really easily. Then I spent absolutely forever trying to make individual boxes for the habit tracker. It takes a long time since I just can't make one line for all 12 boxes. I have to make one line per column every day for the month. So that's basically 30 lines times 12. I'll do my best to breeze through it as fast as I can. When I looked at the photos of the lab, I noticed this purple brick pattern in the background with dark gray support beams with green accents. But the brick pattern was purple and the lines were a lighter color than the wall. So I start with the gray accents first, making a horizontal support beam and a pillar for either side. Then I make the brick pattern. I use a more magenta purple and start making the lines for the bricks. Then to form the brick pattern, I just add a vertical line on every other layer of bricks. I also write the labels for the habit being tracked and the number labels on the side of the page. Now I start coloring. You can really see how much effort these spreads take considering how long it takes to use colored pencil versus using markers. I basically color the rest of the page purple, trying to leave the habit tracker part clean and also the label part. The sleep and exercise tracker are set in the backyard, but now without the platypult. I can gloss over the drawing portion since you've seen it already. To those of you who haven't noticed yet, we start with the invention in the backyard, then to Perry's hideout. Perry gets his mission and goes to Doofenshmirtz. It cuts to Phineas and Ferb having fun with their friends. Candace calls their mom, something happens in Doofenshmirtz's lab, and now we have an empty backyard. Ta-da! It's a whole episode. But basically, this is the same thing I did for the cover, same colors and all. But I have to curve around the titles and the boxes. Since I have to dodge the titles, I work on the tree first, then the trunk. I have to reference the cover to make sure I'm doing it as accurately as I can. Then the next part is coloring in the shadows. After that, I get the rest of the grass with a lighter green. Take the middle brown shade, I colored the fence in the back. Like the cover, I also make that rounded shadow on the left side. To work on the trackers themselves, I outline everything with a brown pen to match the nature surroundings. The left is themed after Phineas, with red labels and orange numbers, and the right is after Ferb, with green labels and purple numbers. The color key has the word key in orange, and the rest are in purple. I don't bother drawing the background houses since there isn't much space for them anyway. Then I fill in areas in the right that I missed. The last step is to go over the entire thing with light blue once again, and that's it for my July spreads. I hope you guys like this new concept for the spreads and the nostalgia trip with all the cartoons that are coming up. I just wanted to feel inspired again, so I changed up my bullet journal theme and closing study mode for now. What do you guys think of the spreads? Any suggestions for monthly themes? Leave them in the comments below. If you found this video interesting, hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this from me, then hit the subscribe button and the bell to know when a new video is out. I try to upload every week, Monday nights at 8. I guess that's all for this video. Bye guys!